Welcome to Van Tate's Sports Office, an in-depth look at the world of sports, featuring exclusive interviews with our KRQE News Sports Director, Van Tate, sponsored by Caesars Sportsbook at Route 66 Casino.
We are talking Lobo women's basketball in the sports office today. A blast from the past. Jayda Bovero played at New Mexico, wore the cherry and silver from 2014 to 2017, and since then she's become quite the influencer. And Jayda, thank you for coming out and checking us out today.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's always so much fun when I get to come talk with the Lobo fam.
Well, I'm looking at when I see your picture these days, there's, like I'm in the store at Foot Locker or something, and I look up and there's Jayda Bovero staring at me, off of a poster. How did all this come about? It seems like you're blazing a trail as an influencer.
Yes, definitely. So when I was done at UNM, actually, I had a few life decisions to make. First and foremost, where it is that I wanted to live. And I knew I didn't want to live in New Mexico. I love y'all, but it was my time. And then I also knew that I didn't want to move back to Utah. So I decided randomly one day that I was going to move to California because I like the beach. And I thought that I was going to do something corporate, something with my degree, something in that realm. But naturally, I started playing basketball when I got here. I got involved in some basketball leagues, and that just honestly started to open up all these different doors for me. Shortly after, I got signed to my first modeling agency. And shortly after that, I got signed to my commercial agent, whom I absolutely adore. And in the midst of all this, I started kind of making content around basketball, around beauty, just kind of all things that incorporated me. And somehow I've landed here.
Yeah, so with this thing with Foot Locker, that campaign that was kind of like your first big one, right?
Yeah, so that was my first big one, and I was very fortunate. That one came during COVID, and so I was super blessed to have a job. And basically, what it was called Rec Room. So it was powered by Nike and Foot Locker, and me and four other creators, we were responsible for making all the digital content for Foot Locker, but specifically for Nike and Jordan. So they gave us this really cool studio. We had a whole production team behind us. So, for example, if they were like, Jayda, here's a white Air Force One, and the concept is air. So it would be my job to come up with the creative as to how we could like marry those two together. And then they would give me the resources that I needed in order to bring my piece of content to life. So it was super cool, especially for my first big job.
Your first big job, and you said your basketball opened it up for you. What are you still playing basketball now? And who are you playing for?
Yes. So I always joke and say that I'm like 79% retired because that does very stand true. I've got my nails done now. Like I'm in my girl era. However, I will come out of retirement for a check or the occasional open run. I played in some pro-am leagues here, the Drew League, Venice League, things like that when I first got here. But I'll be 30 in October, and I just have kind of entered this new phase of retirement. So I still will play. I do things with the NBA, like I play in the NBA Creator Cup, stuff like that, organized games, charity games, but nothing near what I used to.
Yeah, and I could see that you were like, I think I was the NBA All-Star game. I think I saw you. You had a part in that, didn't you?
Yes, I did. So I did go to NBA All-Star Weekend. But I was there with Meta. And so basically what I got to do is I got to make content all weekend long through the Meta sunglasses. I don't know if you've seen them, but they've got AI inside of them, and they film everything around you, and it's literally like having your phone and sunglasses. So that's how I got to do All-Star Weekend.
Wow, that had to be fun. Was that fun?
It was a lot of fun. Yes, oh my gosh, it was so much
What was the
fun.
highlight?
Honestly, the highlight for me was I got to work with a bunch of different brands while I was there. In addition to Meta, I just got to film it all with them. And I got to go to a Fenty Beauty glam suite, and the Fenty team, they did my hair, they did my makeup, and then I had a fashion show that I had to go to later that day. So I was just living my very best life. It was
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
When they made you all up, come on, it's all right. This is all right. You talking to us. You can be honest. You were feeling yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Nobody could tell me anything when I walked out of that glam suite. Like, no doubt. They did a great job. It was so much fun.
And so you walk out of the glam suite, and do You didn't want the night to end, right? Because you didn't want your glam, your glow up to, you know, you didn't want to go home and just take a shower and all that stuff. You wanted your glow up to last for a long time, right?
Oh my gosh, I was sick when I had to wash that makeup off my face because it was so good. I like waited till the very last minute. We had I had like 4 or 5 different events that afterwards I ended up at a fashion show, then I went to dinner, and then I came back and I was just really milking this makeup. Like I was milking it. I didn't want to take it off. So it was a sad day when I
Okay,
had to.
so since you were doing that, I would imagine that you took oodles of pictures. There's got to be a bunch of pictures you took.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of them are on my Instagram. Some of them didn't make the Instagram cut. But like I said, I was filming the whole thing in my goggles, or in my goggles, in my glasses. And I also had my phone, so it was well
Well,
documented.
you know, this you guys have come up in a different era. You know, like I talk to my kids and tell them, hey man, we didn't even have the internet. You know, so it's a different thing. You could actually make a living doing that, being an influencer and stuff like that. How is it going for you? It looks like you have a lot of followers on Instagram, and you've really been able to expand your audience.
Yeah, definitely. So one thing about me is I'm very niche. So I don't have like millions of followers, but I'm in this very specific niche of basketball, beauty, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have a really good team behind me, so that helps. I'm signed with Wasserman Creators, and so they are constantly going and finding me deals, different brands to work with, that sort of thing. So that definitely helps. But at the end of the day, like just to be able to have basketball open up all these doors for me. If you would have asked me 10 years ago when I decided that I was going to go play college
Yeah.
basketball, if it was going to do this for me, I'd have told you were delusional.
Crazy, huh? The conversation is just getting started. We have more on the other side. Yeah, well, this is because social media has changed the game for so many different things, and I'm sure even like the way athletes are being paid now, I'm sure that you're like, man, where was that money when I was coming through?
Van. Listen, I love it for the all the athletes right now. I'm so glad that you guys get to reap the benefits that we didn't. But am I a
Yeah.
little salty, especially being in New Mexico
Uh
during
huh.
my time? Like there was money to be made, you know?
Pay me.
Pay me and pay me a lot and pay me quickly and it would have been fine. So no, I love the evolution of sports, of the
Uh
women's
huh.
game in particular. I'm so glad that it is all working out and that people are getting paid because it seriously is like a job. You can't have a job and be a Division 1 athlete and go to school
Right.
at the same time. It's just way too much. So
I
I
always
love,
tell people how hard that is, and they don't.
oh
They
yeah.
don't. If they don't play sports, they don't understand that, man. It's like you work for the school.
Oh, absolutely. You totally do. And I have been removed from, let's see, I was done in like 2017, 2018. It's now 2025. And those 4 years that I was there, by far one of the most difficult things I've ever done up to date, just because it's so
Yeah.
demanding on your body, mentally, physically, all those things. But it's totally worth it. Like the things that basketball taught me in terms of being coachable, being punctual, working hard, setting goals, going to get it, all those things, that really is kind of like what separates me from the next
Yes.
person or any other athlete from the next person is you just learn all these very fine things that will take you a long way.
And I've said that a million times on this show that it should be mandatory to play sports up until a certain age when you can decide whether you want to stick with it or not, and you should play at your level so nobody's confidence is wrecked and stuff like that. I think there's just too many lessons in it for you not to play.
Absolutely. I totally agree. If I wish everybody could play a
Hmm.
sport or be a part of some sort of like institution that you have to work within a
Yes.
team and also be self-sufficient in order to achieve a goal over a long duration of time. Like the people that are in the
Hmm.
military or that, like situations like that, they also have a similar
Yes.
mentality. So, yes, for all you out there, play sports or something adjacent.
You were talking about the doors that basketball opened up. I saw you at a premiere, at a movie premiere, and I said, "Is she in the movie? What was that all about?"
No, I wasn't in the movie this movie. My goal is to be in a movie, so stay tuned.
I can't remember the movie now. I'm having a brain fart.
So yes, it was John Wick, Ballerina. Yes, and it was first of all, the movie is so good. If you haven't seen it, definitely go see it. It's really good. I was able to attend that as an influencer, so I got to walk the red carpet. I got to do media on the carpet. I got to interact with some fans. And then I was able to watch the movie and meet some of the cast as well too. So it was such a cool experience.
Did you have somebody come around? Hey man, who was that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everyone's in situations like that. Everyone is always curious who the next person
Well,
is, you know?
do you think is this headed towards that? I mean, would you consider doing any movies or anything like that, or is this headed towards that?
Yes. Yeah, so that's kind of like part of my long-term plan is I either want to be in a movie and or in a TV show. So, as I mentioned, I am signed commercially. I've done probably like 15 different commercials ranging anywhere from Nike, Lululemon, Oikos, Target, stuff like that. And so, now my goal is to get more into the theatrical side. So I am currently taking acting
Oh, okay.
classes in a miniature version of acting school, basically just to kind of work on my tools and refine that so that I can check those things off my list as well.
Always say no if they have a movie for you and it's a horror movie. If they're going to be chasing you the entire movie and you don't get a chance to sit down.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. And horror movies freak me out anyways, so it would have to be something really special.
Yeah, and when you're doing all of this, have you had those moments where you've met people and it was just surreal? Like you're going like,
Oh,
okay, I'm standing here with this person.
Oh, absolutely. I actually, so to know me is to know that I am a Beyonce fan. Okay. I've got her hung up in my house over here. I am definitely a part of the Beehive. And I was fortunate enough to meet her a couple years ago after, or it was at a Grammys after party. And I was able to meet her. I shook her hand, Jay-Z. And I was like, I literally called my mom when I left and it was 3:30 her time. And I'm like, Mom, you got to get up. I just met Beyonce. She's like, what? I'm like, Mom, I just met Beyonce. She's like, okay, like that's so cool. I'm like, no, no, no. It is actually.
Stay with us. More conversation on the other side.
We'll get back to the episode in a moment. Monica Wicki here, host of New Mexico Living. I wanted to let you know that this episode is sponsored by Route 66 Casino and Caesars Sportsbook. If you love sports and like having a little action on the game, Caesars Sportsbook is your go-to destination. For rewards and more info, go to route66casino.com. Now back to the episode.
You know, when I first caught on to the fact that you were probably doing some of that stuff is I was at home on a weekend and on Drudge Report, it said former New Mexico basketball player breaks the internet. And do you remember that? Do you?
I do
I
remember
was
that.
like, oh,
Yeah.
what in the world? What happened? I didn't know what had happened. And I opened it up and it was you. And they were talking about, like all these
It was
guys, your
me.
fans.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what was that like?
I was, it was just a normal day for me, whatever. And I woke up the next morning and my phone was blowing up. I had notifications like I had never seen on every social platform that I'm on. And it was just somebody had written an article, that article went somewhere else, the pictures went somewhere else, like it traveled like wildfire. And I was like, what is happening? What is happening? So yeah, that was
Wait,
definitely
were you embarrassed or were you flattered or what was the thought?
at first I was like just a little taken back because I had never experienced anything like that before. And then I was just like, well, I guess we're here now. Hey everyone, like welcome to the party.
Yeah. Yeah, because I always wonder what you thought of that because I saw that and I was like, man, they're talking about Jada. What's going on?
Yes, and I didn't
You
really
know,
realize how the world perceived me at that particular time. So that was a monumental day in my journey for sure.
you didn't know that there were pictures and those guys were saying, "Hey, girl."
Yeah, I had no idea. Like I was just playing basketball in New Mexico. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was my concern and focus at that point. So
How much did that help you though? Like as far as then like these influencer opportunities and stuff like that. Like somebody was like, "Hey, she's getting that kind of response." You know how it is nowadays with social media and all that. Something gets hot and everybody comes.
yeah, definitely. So after that, I got recognized by a lot of sports pages and not so much anymore, but at that particular time, like there was a lot of pages that were like highlighting
Uh-huh.
women that played basketball, and big pages with big followings. So from that article, those pages started posting me, which was just kind of like a ripple effect. And so that really was kind of like the kickstart to me, like making an appearance online and then being able to get recognized by other platforms and that sort of thing. Which in turn helped me over here on the back end, because again, I was looking for around this particular time, as I mentioned, I had just signed to a modeling agency. I had just acquired a manager, and so I was building this team around me that was going to be able to help me to leverage kind of this opportunity. So it all ended up working out.
Yes, and then so I would imagine your mother, when that happened, she was probably like, "What?"
Yeah, she was confused. I mean, honestly, it's probably been until the last 6 months to a year that my mom hasn't been as confused with this whole digital landscape. But before as would any parent, my mom was like, you need to get a job, you need to get a job, you need to go work 9 to 5, you
Yeah,
needed X
yeah,
amount of salary, X amount of benefits, and all these things. And I'm like, Mom, I'm not a 9 to 5 girly, like I am not one to go sit by. Like I want to
right.
do something more, and I want to pursue this and see where it takes me. And worst case, I land flat on my face, and all those jobs you're talking about, they're gonna be there still. So it did take her a second to kind of get
Yeah,
on the bandwagon with me, but now it's like I can't get rid of her. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to
yeah.
blah 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 blah, and she's like, oh my gosh, can I be your plus one? Can I be your plus one? Can I be your plus one? I'm like, Mom, sure, come on.
Well, that's got to be kind of lucrative now, because you're getting all these opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. And it helps because I wear a lot of hats under kind of one umbrella. I have my influencer and my digital stuff, my commercial acting, my print stuff, which is modeling like in stores, that type of thing. And then I also work for a brand, or excuse me, not a brand, an agency called the
Oh,
Fam Empire. And what I do over there, they rep a lot of WNBA players, and so I get to help with their branding work over there. So when like the girls get brand deals in, I will kind of help facilitate them from start to finish
wow.
with them, go with them, whatever that looks like. So I still am, as much as I'm involved in basketball from a digital perspective, I also am still getting to work with like some of
Right.
the athletes that I grew up watching and love to play, mimic their game, like that sort of thing. So I also get to help them navigate the digital space as well.
This didn't open up like one opportunity. This is like you got a buffet of opportunities, and you're just going like, oh,
Oh
I'll
yeah,
have some
for
of
sure.
that and some of that over there. That's how it's going, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, oh sure, like that sounds like it would be fun. I can go over your contract. I have to do that for myself anyways. No problem. Let's go.
What about singing? You still thinking heading in that area too, or?
So singing and kind of like the art side of things are always something that I kind of want to just have tucked in my bag, and more so from like an acting perspective, just because a lot of jobs that will come across my desk or eventually in the future, we're going to require you to be
Mhm.
multifaceted. And so even now, I actually recently just purchased a piano, a little keyboard, and I'm teaching myself how to play the piano just as another thing to have in my repertoire. And stuff like that is also really peaceful to me. Singing, playing the piano, painting. That's kind of where I like find
What is
my
that
inner
voice
zen.
like? Are you one of those that you could just crack off a line right now?
Oh my gosh, no.
Well, hey, you know my personality.
No,
You knew I had to ask.
exactly. I
I
knew
was
you had
like,
to ask, but everybody going for the singing. Yes, I'm actually have a plan to debut this on my page soon, so stay tuned.
oh, will it be a selection of songs, or will it be one, or what are we talking about here?
So it's just going to be one, but it's kind of going to be a broken up version of one of my favorite songs, and I'm actually learning to play it on the piano as well. So I'm going to kind of mix and match both of them and see where it takes me.
Wow, that's very interesting. Now with the Netflix and all that stuff here in Albuquerque, have you have you got the bug as far as coming out here and maybe being in something here, or how's that going?
Yes, I would love to be in something that shoots in New Mexico. Is just kind of like a full circle moment for me. I've had a couple of castings and auditions for even commercials that have shot in New Mexico. I haven't landed one yet, but I know that that's on the horizon for me, and that's going to be a really cool experience to be able to go back to Albuquerque and shoot, and more importantly, eat some of y'all's
Hmm.
food. I want Dion's, like I've got a whole food map mapped out for the second that I touch down.
That's what all the reporters who come here, and they come. Some of them come and go, and they always
Mhm.
say, "Man, I'm going to miss the food." So you are somebody who's missing that food.
Absolutely. I want a stuffed sopapilla. I want a ham and Swiss from Dion's with
And some
garlic
green
sauce.
chili.
I want absolutely, like I've got a few spots that I've got to hit. I want to go to Frontier. I want some freshly squeezed orange juice, some pancakes, a cinnamon roll. Like I'm telling you, I've got it mapped out for sure.
You got the golden pride ribs on the list.
I don't know that I've ever had ribs from Golden
Oh
Pride.
my gosh, you have not?
No, I've only had their breakfast burritos and chicken and stuff like that.
Oh, hey, Put that on the list.
Okay, adding it to the list, no problem. And I always joke too. I'm still really close with, as I'm sure you all know, Tisha Brown. Me and her, we still talk probably 2 to 3 days out of the week. And she will be eating some green chili, some enchiladas, some something. And I'm like, Tisha, send me a bottle of ranch from Dion's. What are you doing?
They have green chili ranch now.
Really? Of course they do. I'm not even surprised. I'm surprised it took them that long, you know?
Well, before we get out of here, I got to ask you, how good are your skills still in basketball? I know Lobo women's basketball fans remember you, but how good are those skills? Are they diminished? Are they like so-so? What are they like?
Oh, no, they're still there for sure.
Okay,
Playing basketball is like riding a bike at this point. So I can still shoot a little bit. I can still dribble a little bit. I still am notorious for driving in the paint and maybe knocking somebody over, you know? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It just depends. But no, I do definitely still try to stay refined in my basketball just because it's involved in every aspect of my life still. So I still will go to the gym. I will still go get shots up. I'll create content with trainers or do a quick workout with them, things like that. So I still try to stay a little tuned up.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. She's Jayda Bovero, former UNM women's basketball player. Get ready to see her on the screen coming your way because influencer, movie star, singer, she's got it all covered. Fernando Perez is behind the controls. I'm Van Tate. We'll see you next time.